The Portland Trailblazers front office is starting to make decisions and moves in the right direction, finally, towards getting out of mediocrity. But it's nowhere near really enough. Reports came out earlier last week that I covered on this channel that Damian Lillard was not likely to be traded from Portland. Dame didn't want to be traded from Portland. Portland didn't want to trade Dame. And that just signaled to me that ultimately Dame nor CJ was probably going to be moved, even under new management, which was really the time for them to make the decision to finally commit to a change to try and build themselves out of mediocrity. Because the ceiling of this group has been reached with Dame and CJ, with two poor defenders, with a poor defensive team. This group just isn't built to have much higher of a ceiling than just getting into the playoffs. Now, new reports have come out today from a writer at Bleacher Report that they are now open to moving Robert Covington and Jusuf Nurkic, which is a start. That is kind of the outside of Dame, Norman, CJ, that's your next best guys. Those are your starters. But realistically, nothing they are going to do or get or trade for or whatever it may be with Nurkic or Covington is going to change this group enough so that this team is actually relevant and is more than just a team that gets into the playoffs. Covington has not been great this year. His defensive play has definitely taken a big dip over the last couple of years. Nurkic has been fine, but he's not a great defensive center himself by any means, which is what this team especially needs. He's been fine on the offensive end and fine on the defensive end. He's not like some horrendous defender, but if anything, he's just an average defender, especially for the center position at best. Ultimately, like nothing they're going to get back from these guys is any bit significant. There might be some interest in Nurkic simply due to the fact that there are some teams that need some centers. I think about Charlotte, Toronto. Are either of those teams going to be interested in giving up a package to the extent that Portland are going to demand? I have doubts because I think Portland are going to value Jusuf Nurkic a lot higher than a lot of teams around the league will, simply due to the fact that his defensive impact is not as great as many would like at their center spot. And then when you talk about Robert Covington, I mean, this is a guy that the Trailblazers traded away 2 first-round picks for only a bit over a year ago. And now, I mean, they'd be lucky to get a first for him, I think. They'd probably get it, but I don't think they would get much more than that because he's fine. But Robert Covington is not what Robert Covington was a couple of years ago. He's just not. So ultimately, this is a good step, and I'm glad to see Portland are starting to move towards changing some pieces, trying to retool this roster. But ultimately, this is not the big move that Portland need to try and change their ceiling. Either they need to move CJ to try and up their ceiling with Dame on the roster and commit to building around Dame to build a contender, or Dame needs to go and they need to try and start from scratch. Neither of which are happening yet, and ultimately it's a positive step, but that step is pretty much as small as it can be. That being said, that is my thoughts on the Portland Trailblazers and reports today and over the last week or so on who they will and will not be interested in trading. Be sure to let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.